Welcome back, War Room fans. Game 2 on Saturday. I was the late arriving guy, so this is the end of turn 1. Notice the U.S. this time is, wow, they're actually building ships in the United States. Incredible. Notice how they've consolidated up in East Canada. Germany came in, did their traditional B-1 raid, wiped out a lot of that air power, got a bomb token. Notice in this game, we got action down in M3. Axis are going all in on Egypt on the Middle East plan. Brought the guys in over from Tunisia. Brought a lot of that air power down to kill that British fleet down there. Up here, it was just consolidation time in this game instead of everybody going into it. So Germany formed up 3 big 8 stacks on the front. Norway's open right now. But notice Germany on their builds, they went all in on land, trying to get guys up to that front. Same thing going on here with Russia. Just building up the stacks. Down here in India, a little bit different this time. They're standing pat because of the threat to the Middle East. So Southeast Asia is secured. But notice Japan, wow, they are sitting off that coast, staring down the U.S. China went in, contested that factory. So that's going to be interesting. Japan this turn, building a ship and some planes and a bunch of units. But notice the Soviets consolidated in the eastern land. So we'll see what happens going into game turn 2. Now, my kids bailed on me, so I don't have my normal video stuff. So this is just through my iPad. So we'll see how the quality comes out. It'll be interesting. Okay, be back on turn 2. Hey guys, we're back here on turn 2. And it's the end. England went up 1 stress. They got 5 more sitting on the stress board. It was a nasty turn for England. Americans are sitting up in A3. The convoy raiding down in the Gulf of Mexico did nothing. They did nothing. Got another bomb token here on B1. Russia front is just stacking. I mean, we're just doing 8 stacks now. Someone's got to make a move, and then it will truly be on. Took Egypt and the Middle East have fallen, which is one of the reasons why England is under severe stress right now. The entire Chinese army died attempting their assault into the factory, but they did take Hong Kong and Shanghai, so they're hanging out down there. Notice that they're coming up in Sichuan. U.S. is down in P19, Japan's up in P1. We'll see how it breaks. Notice on the far side, we do have a battleship coming in. Looks like America's trying to get some reinforcement chain going. So we'll see what happens on turn 3. It should be very interesting. The reinforcements have now all popped. So let's see what happens. Okay, here we are, guys. After the orders have been executed. Notice they're still engaged down over there off the coast of the United States. I'm going to duke it out with a cruiser over there with 3 German subs. They're still in the Gulf of Mexico. They came off A3. They're doing the entire Scandinavian gambit. They're going into Norway, Finland, and Karelia. So we got some battles up there. Notice that we are totally stacked now up here in the center. But down here in the Ukraine, we're going at it. Middle East is in flames now. Everybody's trying to come up on the south side. Over here, it looks like they're going to send some guys down here to try to come into Italy. Or maybe in North Africa. And then up there, we got the 3rd round of the Battle of Britain. The Germans are not giving it up. They keep coming in. As we can see, they're stacked in the middle. The Russians are. Over here, Japan's pretty much, well, mopping up China, it looks like. And India's getting pressured from both sides. We got this huge battle off of Australia. The entire American fleet is down there, taking on those Japanese. Got some convoy route action going on. Notice, though, up here, Japan off midway with a big stack. They got the rest of their navy with an invasion force just sitting out there. So it's going to be a really interesting turn, especially on the Pacific map. Let's see how it breaks down. But over here, we got some big battles going on the Russian front, so we'll see how it all breaks out. Well, here we are, guys, after game turn 3. Notice that the German subs are just sitting off the East Coast now, sank that cruiser, and did some convoying. America came on in and did it. They took Norway, Finland, and Karelia, liberated it. Down here, you can see a huge air stack in Norway now from America. Germany went back in, got 3 more markers on them. So we got 5 on Britain now. But Germany now has 4 bombers and looks like 6 fighters sitting in Greater Germany. Allies are coming down here. It looks like they're going to try to flank. We'll see what they do. Just huge stacks looking at each other now. We're in battle down in the Caucasus and battle down in Iran, but Germany's coming up. So we'll see how that goes. Got a big stack in Bulgaria. Which way are they going? Are they going up into Russia, or are they coming back to help defend? Italy's just rearguarding Egypt. The Italian battleship came out and blew up some of the Indian fleet.
Do we all want to just go to lunch together?
I figured y'all would go get something to eat or whatever, but
Over here we had that huge naval action off of northern Australia, and the Americans just knocked Japan right in the mouth. Just took them out. Yeah, I think America only lost 2 ships in that whole engagement. Looks like China's on the ropes up here. Looks like they got their carrier out now with a cruiser.
Talking about China's on the road, it's just a flesh wound.
Flesh wound, you only got 2, you got 4 guys, man. But we'll see, you never know. They're sitting out off of Midway. So we'll see what Japan does with that fleet. So we'll see what happens. Notice here, the stress is starting to mount. So we can see England's up to level 2 and Germany and China popped. So we'll see what turn 4 has in store for us. Okay guys, we're here back at the end of turn 4. I missed half a phase because we were doing lunch and stuff like that. But here's how it is at the end of turn 4. U.S. finally built some ships out there to stop these Germans really annoying them. They've been hitting it. Over here, the Strat bombers finally finished off Great Britain. They are at max infrastructure. But there was a big gambit because the game came down to Russia was coming in on the Eastern Front. So Germany sent everything out into A6. And we got hosed. I miscalculated on that 15th Air Unit. Plus, we were talking about it. It was actually one of these things when you look at the turn order up there. England went behind Germany. It's actually one of those turns because of the gamble. Looking back on it, this is one of those instances where Germany actually should have probably bid to go last to see what the Allies were going to do before they committed. So that was a lesson learned. Sometimes it's actually best to bid to go last. Down here, America finally got into North Africa. We had the huge battle in Bryansk. And we're basically stuck at 15 units each down in here. Although Germany does have the armor advantage, but you can see Russia now definitely has an advantage in number of units. So we'll see how that plays out. Down in Iran, both sides basically killed each other. We all crashed into each other and mutual destruction. And there's that Italian fleet still trucking along. Over here, Japan basically is trying to finish off China. And the U.S. is down in the Money Islands.
This stack's in Japan?
With some
Okay,
troops.
This stack is still at sea. Correct.
Japan pulled back, so they're now all up in P1 now. Got a fleet in P0, which we thought was interesting because there's only one square with a 0, and that's P0. That confused us for a second. Otherwise, America's just kind of hanging out in the background. But they're definitely making their push down here to get into the money islands.
How much more stress did they take?
They're calculating the stress right now. But this is
What did you count?
absolutely insane on how much stress
Once I got up for 90,
everybody's taking.
So did you place 5
So we'll be
already?
back at the
Yes.
start, halfway through turn 5 coming up.
Middle East, just send everybody else.
Okay, guys,
over
we're
there.
here after orders phase of turn 5. So they're coming
So-
after the German subs sitting off the U.S. East Coast. Looks like they're
Okay.
thinking I was going to try to get away.
Well, I guess you're about an hour out.
Well, because of that failed gambit, now the Allies are coming off into A6 to put the pressure on me. Now, notice Britain can't produce anything, so that's what they got. So we'll see how that goes out. We do have some land reinforcements coming in, though, for Germany. Down here, they're finally coming out of South Africa. There's not much we can do now at this point. The Africa is going to basically just go. But Italy got their battleship back up into the Med, so at least that will stop easy transports just coming across. So Germany and Italy bidded to go first,
Well,
and they dumped the
are you guys leaving
Ukraine
after this turn?
into Belarus to unpin, and they all
I
slammed
don't
into
know. Chip's leaving,
Leningrad.
so I think the game is breaking up after this turn or so.
We're gone. We're gone. We're talking about dinner plans here, guys.
So,
And then we got the Russians, trying to backfill, but we got a cataclysmic 2 battles up there.
just pick up what you want.
UK's coming across. China
Okay.
is getting attacked. It might be the last stand for the Chinese. We can see Japan's bringing up a lot of land units out to P1, but in response to the Borneo and Sumatra invasion, Japan decided to go down into Australia and the sea zone off there, so we'll see how that plays out. The U.S. is pretty much well standing pat on the west coast. I think right now, really, the Allies are just all in on their 9 commands, trying to focus in on the attack points, but they got nothing coming up in reserve if it should go sideways, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, guys, it was the end of that 5th round of combat. So the U.S. fleet took care of those German subs off New York. The British are sitting out here. Where are they going to go? Because they can invade next turn. Got some more U.S. air power coming in. Down here, they still are mashing through North Africa. We got the Italian battleship back into the Med before the British arrive, so that they can't just come across with land, you guys, anymore. They actually need a navy now down there. Up here, we had our huge battle of Bryansk. The Germans and Italians actually all left Ukraine, pushed into, take that, Belarus, pushed everybody from Belarus into Leningrad. And the Germans temporarily have the upper hand up there, it looks like. But we'll see what these guys in Bryansk are doing, coming in on the backside. The British have basically retaken the Middle East, the middle part of the map. But China's gone. They took 2 of the money islands. Got that U.S. fleet down there, but Japan is set up for an invasion if they want. And then we got more land out at sea in P1. And all the Americans got is 1 battleship coming up in reserve. So we'll see what happens. Now on the stress zone, Germany went up, the supply lines disrupted. Everybody else pretty much stood pat, but everybody's climbing up on that stress board. So we'll see what happens on turn 6. Okay, guys, we're back. Middle of turn 6 after orders. So the Germans are bugging out. See, 2 really big stacks. Are those 8 stacks over there? Pretty damn close. Getting ready to come across. But look at there, the British wimped out, couldn't handle the pressure, so they bailed up to A3. Didn't want to do the invasion. Down here, they're just finishing off. They're going to try to finish off the North Africa campaign, but that battleship down there might stave them off for a little bit, so maybe Italy won't be threatened. But we're still duking it out up here. So Leningrad and Belarus, you know, the Leningrad battle is going to be touch and go, but I think Germany's going to take back Belarus. Got a strat bomber going into Moscow and all those builds. He wasn't watching it, so he snuck in. Here come the British up into the Caucasus. Over here, they're just pushing into Burma, just making the action happen. Everything's quiet up here. Notice, though, that Japan's moved down into P13. Got another big stack of land covered by carrier, but there it is. They locked us down, so we got a big naval action off Australia. But Japan was able to sneak out one carrier with all those land power to come over here to maybe try to do something back on the Money Islands, so we'll see what happens there. But that big battle over there off Australia will be the determining factor. But notice now, America's got nothing coming in on reserve. So we'll see how it all plays out in the middle of turn 6. Okay, guys, we're back after turn 6 of combat. Not much happening, although the Americans are coming over. But over here, they finally finished the conquest of North Africa, Middle East. It's all taken back. Up here, Germany and Italy finally took out Belarus. They're hanging on in Leningrad just against a huge infantry stack. But as you can see, we got the British coming in. That little sneak attack on Moscow blew up all their reinforcements except for one artillery, so that kind of put the hurt on them for next turn. Down here, Burma is contested. Not much happening up here. Though Japan popped their last set of big ships for the game, probably, unless they can take back the Money Islands. They got a battleship and a CV. Down here off the east coast, though, all the land-based air are toast now. Well, they still got 2 fighters over there. But they got 4 ships. They got a carrier, 2 battleships, and a sub against my carrier and 2 battleships. Then down here, P16, we got 2 carriers sitting over here. Got to rebase those guys, I see. And we got an invasion fleet coming in, so we'll see what happens on game turn 7. And the United States still doesn't have anything coming in on the Pacific. Okay, guys, we're done with game turn 7. We just did the stress. You can see the German Navy finally got sunk. They took them out, but they got a big land command stack. 2 more up here. You know, Britain hasn't built a unit in like 4 turns, but it doesn't matter. They got naval superiority. There's nothing Germany can do about it. British landed up here in Finland instead of coming into France. The Russian front at this point, they're just going to start smashing. So Germany's on the ropes big time. Down here, United States is going to start, they started strat bombing Italy. But Italy made a big, bold move this last turn. They came out to M2 because they actually have naval superiority in the Med. So they're coming out with their land units and going to try to make some noise, I guess. Get a little crazy. Over here, Britain's just hanging out. You know, we talked about the Russian front. Those are all 7, 8 land command stacks. They're just whittling the Germans down now. Over here, Burma fell. Japan's trying to get guys back over to stop the bleeding. But the fleet down here in P16 took back Sumatra. So at least we opened up the oil. Notice how Japan's got 2 naked land command stacks out there. Land commanders out there going after Borneo or doing something. Over here, Japan was reduced down to 1 battleship, but they duked it out. But they still got naval power coming in over there. We still got 2 CVs over here. So Japan definitely has the CV advantage right now. And got a cruiser that just came in. Russia completely bailed, but it's not like China or Japan can do anything about it. But over there, they just got a bunch of boats in the water, and I'm sure during production phase, they're going to start building some more. We're to the point now where the United States is just, with their oil, they can basically just outbid everybody at this point, and they're just burning resources because they got so much. Looking down here at the stress wheel, Germany actually went up to economic collapse, but Germany actually last turn didn't build one unit. They built 5 commercial goods because they saw that coming, so they dropped back down to supply lines. So they don't have any stress right now, but that can change at any moment the way this game's going. But you can see everybody's slowly climbing up, but the U.S. is just chilling. They have no stress. So we're going into game turn 8. Let's see how it goes. Here we are, guys. Middle of turn 8. Just finished our movement orders. U.S. is now coming down here. Getting up into Italy's face. Not much they can do about it. Although Italy's going into Algeria. And they're just consolidating in North Africa, just waiting for the troops. Germany just bailed on the entire front. So there's nothing they can do now. I mean, Russia and UK up there, it's just, they're just all slamming in. They got that big invasion fleet in A6. It's 2 turns out, probably. Maybe 3. But that's it for Germany. They're toast. Over here, we got a big battle. They're coming back up into China. Although Japan did get the 41st down into Thailand to try to sneak up on the back side. Trying to get the money islands back. This Eastern Australia thing is just, they're just keep duking it out. I think this is turn 3 of the big naval battle. Japan's got another big land stack off the coast of Japan. Notice how Russia is completely naked if they wanted to go in. And the U.S. is just building ships over there, trying to come over here and just finish off Japan. So Germany and Italy actually bidded all their limited oil just to go first so they could bail and not get pinned down.
67 was supposed
But
to be
it looks like it's going to be pretty ugly from here on out. Okay, guys, here we go. It is over at the end of turn 8. Axis just threw in the towel. We just can't take the beating anymore. Unlike game 1, where Germany had naval superiority, now the Allies have it, and there's nothing that Germany can do to stop unprotected land stacks just moving over. They're pulling back, but the horde is coming in. It's 2 turns out before the whole horde arrives. Same thing down here. They're just getting ready to just mow us over. You know, the Italians tried a Hail Mary in Algeria, but it ain't going to turn the tide of the war. British keep coming up. Over here, the British are still duking it out, though, with Japan. Japan actually has a lot of land power. If we kept playing it out for a couple more turns, Japan might have been able to stabilize China. They took back all the money islands. They still got 4 carriers out and battleship and some escorts, but yeah, that Eastern Australia battle, that's turn 4 of contested area. The Allies rolled how many? 24 dice?
Mm-hmm.
They rolled 24 dice in that combat between that battleship and 3 fighters and didn't even get a hit. Not even a hit. But look at over there. I mean, America is just building ridiculous amount of naval power now. So we didn't do the stress board, but one thing we were finding that, like this last turn, I mean, the stacks are getting so small, everything's getting so depleted. There was only like 5 combats in the entire turn. So the morale board, Japan was, they were going to pop, but they have enough medals. But yeah, we're just playing out the string here. I mean, Germany's going to go down, but I mean, it might still take the Allies 6 turns, 8 turns to knock out Japan. I mean, it's getting so bad that Britain down there, Anzac just made a battleship. That's how bad it's getting. So, well, it was an interesting game, I'll say that. But one thing we definitely found, wouldn't you agree, Bryce? It takes America a long time to get across these oceans.
A long
A
time.
long time. I mean, they have their initial, like, setup pieces that can get in the action in game turn 3 or 4. But after that, once they're through with those initial guys, it is a long time to get guys across these oceans. So, I mean, obviously game turn 4, when the Germans made their gambit and got burned and lost a lot of land units, at that point we thought it was definitely over real quick, but nope, we went through 8 turns and Germany's probably still got 2, maybe 3 turns of life left in them. So, but the Axis definitely were not going to win. So that's it for game 2. So you can kind of see how it all ended up. So I'll be checking with you guys later. Out.